I know I do.
So he doesn't love orc tits, but he likes a good sloppy field.
I think they come together. That's a package deal.
Probably.
Oh, good evening,
Hello,
everybody.
everyone. Glorious evening to you all as well.
Here, here.
What is that thing that you're drinking?
It's called an adult beverage. It's known as beer, but it's a Michelob Golden Light.
In like a aluminum can.
Yep.
Thank you for testing the metallurgy.
There you go. No, I'm not drunk. In case you guys were wondering.
Oh man.
On Mick Ultra, I would be shocked.
No, that's not Mick Ultra. It's Michelob Golden Light. It's completely different than Mick Ultra. Although I did have 2 of those before this one. Why do I feel seen?
Yeah, you kept putting that up to your mouth. I was like, that looks like something you would put in your engine.
With like a little, what are those? A funnel? You just pop it up,
Yep.
funnel it in.
Yep.
Oh,
The Michelob not sitting well with you? I'm shocked.
I get gassy. It's like,
Even when they're not an IPA.
yeah. Oh, the burps mostly, not the toots.
Thank you for clarifying. I know that's why the people tuned in.
On that note, welcome to Gamers Week podcast. Like the name says, we analyze the best, the worst, and the weirdest headlines of the past week in the video game industry. This is episode 175, and today is Wednesday, July 23rd, 2025. My name is Ryan. I will be your host for tonight's festivities, but I am not alone. I have 2 fine, fantastic people with me. First of all is a woman who has recently begun principal photography on a series of workout tapes, in partnership with David Beckham, floored by his acting chops in a recent series of Stella Artois commercials where the sports legend asks when presented with buffalo wings, are they not made of buffalo? She is now bringing to a home near you soon, Pecs with Bex. Blue, how are you doing today?
Woodbecks?
Okay. You know what? You worked really hard for that.
Yeah.
We went on a journey. There was a plot arc. So I'm gonna let you have that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All that fine work that I've done.
I didn't know where we were going with that one, but it paid off.
The ending was a shock to me, a complete twist.
And second of all, but not least of all, tonight we have a really chill dude who looks great in boxers, briefs, or a mankini, and didn't admit to the world recently that one of his greatest pleasures is giving me shit. Donnie G. Donnie, how you doing?
You know, okay, so I've never worn a mankini, but I feel comfortable in my body now that I'm older. I've lost 10 pounds. I could sport a Speedo and be completely fine with it.
Mankini, though.
I think I'm a little... I don't have the ability to shave the gooch and down there as well as I'd like.
The ability to? Can you not reach? Is that...
I can't. It's awkward. Like, I'd have to get one of those floor mirrors in the shower and just, like, kind of...
Yeah, I don't know about blind shaving the gooch. That seems risky.
And I'm not paying somebody to do it. There's no way. You're not going to get me on my back, my legs in stirrups, and me just, like, looking somebody dead in the eyes while they just, like...
All right. Personally, I've never gotten a Brazilian, and I take it neither have you, Donnie.
No.
Blue, Blue, have you had that experience?
Well, yeah. You they don't like have you legs in the stirrups.
Okay, that was going to be my question: are stirrups involved? Is this like a OBGYN?
It's more like a hands and knees situation.
Yeah, you're on a table and your hands and knees like this.
Yeah, so there's no eye contact if that helps.
No, I'm sure there's mirrors all around that you can like. You look over and like you can catch that eye as they like rip off the paper. Like,
that's okay. You hold eye contact, establish dominance. They're working for a tip.
Ooh, and don't move. Don't make any sound. You just like take it. Just like.
What I think you should do, Donnie, is play a little game with yourself. Have a bunch of IPAs the evening before.
Oh no.
Show
no.
up.
No.
And then the challenge is to last the whole appointment without ruining someone's day.
No. It's gonna be right in their face. As soon as they go to rip it off, it's like oh. I'll give somebody pink eye.
Patient 0 for pink eye.
Oh my god.
All right. So for those out there, if you want to start your own podcast, maybe a sentient cheese sandwich that holds interventions for people with lactose intolerance, I would be a guest
That's
on
me.
that. Yeah, you'll need a place to host your show. Buzzsprout has a user-friendly interface, a great analytics, and resources to help grow your audience. Use the link in the description and get $20 credit when you sign up for a paid plan. Let's jump into our reviews, reactions, and requests. First up is New York Nux. Steam's new guidelines are inherently fascist. They need to make guidelines based on their own desires, not the whims of fundamentalists. I think we kind of said something in not that directive language, but I think we were saying that they need to make guidelines for themselves rather than be manipulated. I don't know if that's the right word, but cajoled.
I think manipulated is a good term because it's
Okay.
It's. I mean, you have the people that control the money. They're trying to control everything that you do to be able to pay with that money. So it's not far fetched.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Next up is PD Lupe. I don't mind liberties in the new Resident Evil movie, just don't make it a post-apocalyptic story like Paul Anderson, or forget the story in favor of fan service like Welcome to Raccoon City. Even though they have those things I like, but there's a reason why they are dumped on. Then what? So what does that leave you with, I guess?
I think it leaves you with just telling the story of the games.
Yeah. I
And
agree.
Paul Anderson ones were not the story of the games, and Welcome to Raccoon City was just a checklist of things in the games, and if we check these boxes, the fans will be happy. And that was not it.
You know what? I'm going to have to watch Welcome to Raccoon City. Is it still on Netflix?
I guess. I haven't checked.
Okay. You hate it. I'm probably going to love it.
Well, we'll take that challenge.
Okay.
And then I can't wait to hear about it if you actually do love it, because I haven't heard of anybody who loves it.
This is
Okay.
why we podcast, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, last up is Zach Huge Think says, I was going to call you on Carl Urban having a beard through most of his career, and then I started checking.
Told you.
Yeah,
I
she's
pay
right.
attention to my beards. Although Sanity did point out that he is naked-faced in the Star Trek movie.
Yes.
Yeah, because he plays Bones, right?
Yep.
I didn't see it.
I had the newer Star Trek movies are very good.
Very
and I
good.
completely forgot that Carl Urban was in that. And I had mentioned that he was in Born
See?
Supremacy.
He needs the beard, or you forget he's there. It's like he just disappears. He's invisible.
To your point, that hadn't dawned on me until just now that was Carl Urban.
He needs the beard. He needs the beard. The beard is important.
It's a really good flick, though. I think you would potentially like it. It is not.
You sure? I don't
it's
even like
so-
Star Trek.
Well, and the thing is,
I don't like Star Trek.
Star Trek is really dialogue heavy. So if you're not into that part of it, right, that's the problem. But I think
Mhm.
these ones have enough mixture of action and suspense in them that it's not, long political discussions. It's just the world they live in and the existential crisis that's happening. So highly recommend.
So Games with Coffee says, "Damn it, Jim! I'm a doctor, not a sexy lumberjack with a beard." And It's Virtually a Podcast says, "First time I ever drank was with Captain Kirk." I think we need to hear more
Yeah,
about
that's
that.
a story.
Like, actually, William Shatner? That's a
Could've-
problem. Like, you can't go above that.
Yeah,
Sure you
you
can.
It's like a
There's
bucket
Start.
list guy to drink with.
There is nowhere further for your life to go. You're just done after that
I'm gonna stop drinking because I've reached the pinnacle.
night.
All right, so why don't we go ahead and shout out our patrons?
We couldn't do what we do without the help of our gorgeous patrons. Here are the generous folks supporting Gamers Week on Patreon. You know, the bleeps, the sweeps, and the creeps. Fruitcakes, I hate it when my shorts get twisted. Pickled pepper. Ducks with thick thigh. Oh, there's only one. Ducks with thick thigh. Absolutely the best podcast, a work in progress. Bobson Dugnut. Blues Little Sis. Loudmouth. Retro Blast Pat. B&T Zillaguy. The Mad Milkman. Seven Castle Forest. Crunchy Kong. Snacks, the Handsome Chef. Frank Grande. Love Retro BTW. Steven Sand. Ramboski. Terry Kinnair. Don't Make Me Pull This Car Over. Games with Coffee. Hybrid Divide. You Fall Before Me. Davey PGH. The Pixel Pond family, including Shannon and Luke. Zach, aka Old Cluster Nuts. Puzzle Butter, #1 Blues Sick Boys fan. John Barron, Sassy Sony. Evo Lust, Rai Wants This Boy's Soul. Mega Retro Man, Gamatroid, Moradib. Michael, hey man, I got 5 kids to feed. Lakite, Emo-esque, and Bill Tucker. And let me make one amendment. It's actually, hang on a second. Frank, this tornado's going to send me to safety grande. If you like what you hear today, and we really hope you do, please consider joining us on Patreon. Your support helps cover the cost of producing the show, as well as other cool stuff we'll be doing like prizes and giveaways. You'll also gain access to our bi-weekly but on hiatus until August, patron-only bonus cast called Gamers Week Uncut. Patrons with benefits. Visit patreon.com/gamersweek or follow the link in the show notes to learn more.
Go ahead.
So Virtually Podcast says, no Chris Pine. I did a movie with him when I was 20 and never drank. He had post-production party. It was fun. He's nice and was unknown at the time. Not bad. I would hang out with Chris Pine.
I asked him what movie, and he said it's called Confessions or Confession. I forget exactly.
It's hard for me to think of Chris Pine in Star Trek. And the first thing I think I saw Chris Pine was in Smoking Aces. If you remember that,
Smoking Aces, yeah.
It's with like Ben Affleck, Ray Liotta, what's his name, Van Wilder, Ryan Reynolds. Look it up.
How dare you, sir?
Yeah, sorry.
He's Deadpool. You're wearing the shirt. Have some respect.
I know. I'm old, man.
All right, so why don't we go ahead and jump into our headlines?
Hang on, I'm looking up the movie. Confession, 5.5 stars out of 10 on IMDb in 2005.
Kudos to It's Virtually a Podcast. I think if I was ever in a movie, I would absolutely remember the title 100%.
And bring it up like
constantly.
Every single second that you could.
Hey, have you seen Confessions? No. Who are you? Oh, I was in it.
All right. This headline segment is proudly sponsored by Absolutely the Best Podcast, a work in progress. Each episode, George and Zach discuss and rank all the best things, starting with deep dives into every movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This week, they've got a trivia question for us. In the 1991 comedy Hot Shots, what is the 4-word phonetic alphabet phrase that Washout uses to address the team tasked with leading the movie's final mission, telling them, "You're cleared for takeoff"? Visit them at absolutelythebest.net or follow the link in the show notes.
I'm going to bow out of this one. I have never seen Hot Shots.
What?
I know.
Oh my God.
I know.
I mean, I've never seen it either, but that shouldn't shock you.
Oh my.
Nope.
We're relying on you, Donnie.
Hot Shots is a pinnacle. It's the pinnacle of slapstick cinema. I love that movie. Along with Naked Gun. Hot Shots 2, not so much, but the original Hot Shots is chef's kiss. Now.
Access Jesus fucking Christ. RGB.
See, no, I'm off the hook. You're the one who's disappointed.
I know.
Everyone.
There was 2 people who haven't watched it.
Was it something with... I know he says something like Foxtrot Milkshake something.
It's maybe Fox or Quick Brown Fox jumps over the lazy dog.
I haven't seen the original Hot Shots in quite some time, so I'm going to say that I don't know this one.
Okay. Sounds as though we may need a movie night is in order.
Absolutely.
The answer is Alpha Velveeta Knuckle Underwear. And you were to get bonus points if you knew what Lieutenant Commander James Eyewitness Block's response was, which was Sphincter Mucus Niner Ringworm Roger.
Admiral Benson. What? That's my name.
All right, so first up, just weeks after confirming The Outer Worlds 2 will be the first Microsoft game to retail for $80, Microsoft has reversed its decision, revealing the highly anticipated sequel will now launch for $69.99, in keeping with typical AAA pricing. This will apply not just to The Outer Worlds 2, but indeed other full-priced holiday releases launched across the period. In a statement, a Microsoft spokesperson said Xbox was focused on bringing players incredible worlds to explore and will keep our full price holiday releases, including The Outer Worlds 2, at $69.99, in line with current market conditions. We understand that these changes are challenging and that were made with careful consideration given market conditions and the rising cost of development, Microsoft said at the time. Looking ahead, we continue to focus on offering more ways to play, more games across any screen, and ensuring value for Xbox players. With The Outer Worlds 2 no longer retailing for $80, that makes Nintendo's Mario Kart World the only major release from a big publisher going for $80 this year.
So is this essentially the get on stage and mic drop, $199, boom? Or does it fall short?
I don't think it has the exact same impact, but
I think it's wise for them to keep games at this particular current price point because, like you just said, Nintendo is releasing Super Mario World or Mario Kart 8. No, what is it? What's the title again, Blue? I'm sorry, I don't have the Switch 2.
It's right there on the screen. Mario Kart World.
Mario Kart World. I'm not looking at that notes right now. Sorry. So
right.
They're still releasing that for $80. And I'm sure they're going to release other new games for $80 stating, we're Nintendo, we're better than you, and we know it. Whereas Microsoft is now raising prices on their consoles to try and recoup some money. So maybe they're like, well, if we try to raise prices on consoles and we try to raise prices on video games, it's going to send people away in droves. So let's take a step back, let's rethink this, and keep the prices as it is. They're probably going to rake in the same amount of money. They're not going to lose a lot. It's not going to be that big of a difference.
And I would argue that, my guess is they'll probably sell a lot less consoles than they will copies of these games.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering what the business justification would be to raise prices on their consoles and then drop the prices of games. But hey, I don't work at Microsoft, so I don't see the bottom line. But I think this is an interesting time to be here because I think we all assume that we finally kind of made that leap over that cliff, if you will, of like all games are always going to be $69.99 to now games are more expensive. And now it seems like Microsoft is like, oh, we jumped. Just kidding, we bought. Yeah. And I think we're going to have another year of having conversations on the podcast about how much games cost. Hooray!
Yeah. Well, TK95 makes a good point in the chat. He says, I think the $80 game thing was just to scare people to Game Pass and it backfired.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a few things that are going on here. I think certainly the Game Pass thing is part of it, but also I think this is Xbox admitting, but without admitting that they don't have anything coming out the rest of the year that they think can command that kind of price. Even with Nintendo, they did $80 for Mario Kart World, but still $70 for Donkey Kong Bonanza, which is their other like marquee title of the year. So I still think that if you're gonna, as a publisher, go for that $80 price point, you better be really freaking sure that your gamble is going to pay off, because otherwise you're going to not have the sales that you need up front. Retailers are going to discount it, and then you're out of luck.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, Yeah, I think there's a few layers going on here, but also Microsoft is hurting for good PR right now. And as You Fall Before Me says in the chat, they put out a really cringy tweet about it, patting themselves on the back as the good guys.
Look at us. We're not going to charge you as much.
Yeah.
Even though we save so much money by laying people off that now we can keep the games at $70.
I'm going to opt for the 50-room mansion instead of the 60-room mansion this year. So we've heard you. People, we've heard you. We're going to give back to the people.
That's quite a sacrifice you're making there, Donnie.
You know, you bring up a really good point. That is not a good look, though, after laying off thousands of people.
Mm-hmm.
And then coming back and saying, like, hey, guess what? We can afford this. We can afford this loss. I think that's the harbinger of bad things to come then for Microsoft. If they got to lay off all those people to save costs, and then they realize they're not going to sell any games, so they got to make them cheaper. This is like the end of BlackBerry when they were going, just everything's free. Just
We're not
take
in a
it.
death spiral.
Right, just take it. Everything's free.
So the roller coaster has already hit the peak, and it is like in the middle of the downward thrust, and you're like, yay! I've got my arms raised for this one. I'm waiting to see Microsoft just hit the wall, fly off the track, and die a fiery death.
Full on Final Destination,
Yes.
like set piece.
Yeah,
it just feels like they're on the Titanic and they're expecting us to pat them on the back because they started throwing buckets of water out into the sea, right?
But they got a cup.
Like, look how long we delayed this whole thing.
Little Dixie cups. I'm doing my part.
Right?
I didn't do fucking shit.
Somebody, quick, call me a hero. I'm doing such a great job.
Yeah, but of course, don't forget that a couple weeks ago was Phil Spencer, Xbox boss Phil Spencer,
Drink.
who was saying that they've never had more players and Xbox has never been stronger.
But the official numbers aren't out. We haven't. That was if you're in the know, then you know. But they
don't release the official numbers.
I know.
The thing is, like, they're not under oath. This is all PR.
Of course.
They don't like we take it at face value. You know, a grain of salt and a shot of penicillin with that, because at this point I just don't believe anybody.
No.
You know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's within their interest to say, "Hey, look how cool we are! Look how popular we are!" Right? It's even the whole thing of like logical fallacy of deciding that the majority is right. So by convincing people, everybody playing on Xbox, right? You're gonna love it. The other question I have for you, Blue, is Mario Kart World Tour worth the $80 price point?
Tour.
Tour. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I waited forever for this game, and I am disappointed by it. not to go on a tangent, but it's not the classic Mario Kart experience. A lot of changes, which is a discussion for another time. But honestly, yeah, I waited forever for this game, and I hardly play it. So.
So $80 well spent.
I know. Yes, and there's gasps of dismay in the chat. Yeah.
And gasps in Espanol.
In Espanol.
¿Por qué?
So I was trying to look at what releases does Xbox have still coming up this year, because Outer Worlds 2 is like the biggest thing they're hanging their hat on right now. They gave it its own showcase, which was weird because the Outer Worlds 1 was like this AA game that I think wasn't bad. It was overall well received, but I wouldn't necessarily call it a viral game by any stretch of the imagination. But now they're really pumping this Outer Worlds 2, and if this is the game, this was the game that they came out and announced, $80. And I think that was if they will make the transition to $80 games, but this was a bad place to start it.
Right.
Not saying this is going to be a bad game. I'm sure it's going to be fine, but it's just not. It's not GTA 6. It's not the next Mario Kart. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you think, in a way, Nintendo has a right, I guess, to charge $80, considering they knew what the draw would be on that. You know? Well, what are we laughing
Frank says, "Of course I won a few matches against Blue, and suddenly,
at?
I'm disappointed in this game."
Nope, Frank, you earned him. You earned him.
It's all making sense now.
And D says people overestimate the simplicity and great fun. This is chat scrolling for some reason. Hang on a second. Where's it at? People overestimate the simplicity and great fun you can have with arcadey type of games. I love them. Screw realism. Not everything needs to be a simulator, a Souls-like, inventory management galore, or hard and convoluted just for the sake of bragging rights. We didn't have that back in the day, and it was a blast, and we liked it. We loved it. FH5 isn't perfect, but man, you can have a blast for hours. And I agree. I love the single player. Either it's a story-driven narrative or it's just an arcadey type style of game. There's a meme going around that says if you could play one game for like 12 hours a day and to get X amount of money, would you do it? Hell yes, I would. I love playing just games by myself. There's so many games that I'm playing right now, like Metal Gear Solid 5. That's a game by myself. I could play that for hours and hours a day.
So what you're saying is you like playing by yourself.
With myself, by myself.
I was going to go there, but I didn't know which angle to go. So, Blue, thank you for taking the mantle on this one.
You're welcome. It wasn't like a smooth approach because I was also debating, like, how am I going to phrase this? But yeah.
But you volunteered, and I appreciate that.
I decided to just go for it.
All right. So next up, they do say pride comes before the fall, and despite donning a hat proclaiming "Make FPS Great Again" at Summer Game Fest earlier this year, studio founder Ian Proulx. Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
There's an X and an L. There's an LX at the end of this. And 1047 Games are putting Splitgate 2 back in the beta box. Not only that, the studio is also taking the original Splitgate offline and laying off members of the staff. In a statement shared on Tuesday addressing the Splitgate 2 community, the studio admitted that it had exited the sequel's initial beta far too early. We had ambitious goals for Splitgate 2, and in our excitement to share with you, we bit off more than we can chew. We rushed certain features, made some boneheaded mistakes, and most importantly, we didn't give you the polished portal-filled mayhem you fell in love with. 1047 Games wrote, as such, Splitgate 2 is going back into beta less than 2 months after its official launch. The studio will now the studio will now do a significant amount of rework of areas including progression as well as adding more portals to maps and simplifying monetization. This rebuilding phase will last until early next year, the developer said, and Splitgate 2 will remain playable during this time. However, all of this has come with a human cost, and as a result of this decision, the studio is laying off staff. According to IGN, the number of those affected totals 45. At the time of writing, Splitgate 2 has a 24-hour player peak of 1,706 players on Steam, and its all-time peak concurrent players was 25,785. Though numbers have been steadily declining since its launch. Last month, Splitgate was lambasted by players after 1047 Games released a cosmic bundle priced $80, supposedly discounted from $145 in response to the studio slashed it to $40 and reduced prices across the store, pledging to double down on being community first and listening to you guys.
Because being greedy gets you nowhere.
I mean...
Shut up, Ryan. I'm trying to make a point.
I know. I'm just saying. I would love to believe that. I really would. I want that to be the case.
Tegan85 says, $80. Why would you buy a bundle when you could buy a first-party Xbox game for that and still have $10?
It's instant savings.
Yeah, I mean, I think grading games, it's been demonstrated over and over again that it does work and that people will pay it, but you have to do your due diligence ahead of time. You have to make a fun game. You have to make it compelling and addictive so they keep coming back, and you can't just drop straight out of beta with an $80 cosmetic bundle and expect that people are going to throw their credit cards at you as fast as they can. Like, that's just not how it works. This is what we've talked about before, a classic example of reverse engineering the game to support the microtransactions instead of prioritizing the game and the gameplay, and you're prioritizing the bank.
Mm-hmm.
So out of curiosity, have we ever run into a game prior to this where they had gone back to beta? I can't recall.
I'm sure it happens.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like really small studios and like
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
indie games, but
To my
big enough
knowledge,
to make the news.
I don't think so.
Well, let's face it. This asshole showing up at Summer Games Fest with a "Make FPS Great Again" hat and offending like half the world. Of course, they got a lot of attention, which was exactly what it was going for, but they weren't ready for the attention. Like, I hopped on Steam just to check out some reviews because I haven't played it, and I don't think you guys did. And so I was like, well, what's wrong with it? TLDR, Splitgate 2 is another victim of trend chasing. There's no action, very few portals when the portals are supposed to be the center of the gameplay. Textbook example of a sequel that misunderstands what made its predecessor intriguing in the first place. Bro wears a "Make FPS Games Great Again" hat and makes the most expensive store I've ever seen and releases an unfinished battle royale. And this is my favorite one. I enjoyed my time, I really did, but what the fuck high grade fentanyl you guys huffing in the marketing department?
Any game company, any developer that releases a game that is not done, that has a lot of bugs,
mm-hmm.
that they're rushing just to appease shareholders and everything, that company is pretty much dead to me. I will never buy a game from them whatsoever because the only thing they're out to do is screw everyone else so they can save themselves with a shitty product and appease their shareholders. So if you do this, I'm not picking up any of your games.
Yeah, and honestly, I never heard of the first one.
Neither did I.
Just not that unusual for me because I don't play shooters. I would expect maybe that you'd at least heard of it among guys who play shooters. But yeah, it really sounds like they were a little company that had some moderate success and then just decided they were going to take on Warzone all in one day. And shockingly, it didn't work out. It's really sad that their developers have to be the ones to pay this price.
Yeah.
As it so often goes, but I'm not sure anyone besides Ian Proulx is surprised that this happened.
Proulx, eh?
I mean, thank you for also attempting to pronounce that.
Proulx.
I got you, buddy. Eldronox says there were a few others that went back to beta, H1Z1, The Calling, and a few others, I do believe.
You know what's interesting about that? I think, we run into an era where there's so many unfinished games that get released, and then it's patches, right? So kudos to a team that's willing to go back and kind of reformat the whole thing and try to actually come up with a good game, but not at the price of 45 people,
Mm-hmm.
And if you've got all that work to do, why are you laying off 45 people? My guess is that the game was not that profitable if we got to lay off 45 people and then go back to work.
If it's profitable, they wouldn't be putting it back into beta. It wouldn't matter how buggy it was. If they were still making money, they would just keep it.
Well, and that's
what caused them to go back.
The other thing is the quality assurance, the quality control. That's specifically why you have focus groups, right? You bring people in to test out the game and get their feedback. If it's like overwhelmingly, no, this is not for me, or like, why do you have this? Why do you have this? And they're just not feeling it. No, let's screw it. Let's live on the edge. Let's go ahead and release it anyway. Really? Okay, if you're going to live by that, you're destined to fail.
All in.
We've been paying all our developers on the CEO's credit card, so we got to get some money coming in.
I'm all in. I've got 7 deuce. I've got a full house. All right, you win.
Simon Astor says, live service, more like releasing a game on live support.
Yup.
All right, next up, Hellraiser is finally getting a video game after 40 years. I have such sights to show you. Hellraiser's Twisted Puzzle Box has spawned a whopping 11 films, loads of comics, and a TV show is on the way, allegedly. But until now, video games have been.
Allegedly.
Can you say that in a Cenobite voice?
No, I was doing Leonard Kinney.
Yeah, I know. With the expectation or the exception of main antagonist Pinhead's appearance in Dead by Daylight. Thanks to Saber Interactive, it's about to change. Saber's just unveiled Hellraiser Revival, or Clive Barker's Hellraiser Revival, if you want to be pedantic, which I always do.
Mm-hmm.
A single-player survival horror romp featuring original Pinhead actor Doug Bradley reprising the role for the first time since 2005's rubbish Hellraiser Hellworld. Oh, that's very rude. Revival spins a new familiar story with protagonist Aiden making a pact with Pinhead so he can unlock the dark powers of the Genesis configuration to save his girlfriend from hell. To fight hell wretches, deviants, cultists, and its most infernal priests, you'll have to use the powers gifted to you by the not so to be trusted puzzle box, along with earthly weapons. Working on the first true Hellraiser game has been a venture deep into the recesses of my darkest imaginings, says Clive Barker, who's had a complicated relationship with the series after he sold the rights right before the first movie even launched.
Puzzle Better says Twisted Me Box. Interesting.
Oh, Twisted Me Box. Is Davey talking?
So this is kind of cool. You know, I didn't necessarily expect this. The only reason I've seen any Hellraiser movie is because of Blue.
You're welcome.
Admittedly, I didn't enjoy it. I thought it was gross as hell.
Yeah.
And I'm not into body horror, and that entire movie is
Yeah.
fucking body horror.
With the hooks and the flaying of the flesh and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like Hellraiser has been a great horror series since the 80s. You know, early, like the way things were shot movie wise back then made, like, whenever that movie came on TV, it would look so scary. Nowadays it's like it doesn't hold up as far as like the way the movie feels, but watching it back on a CRT on Cinemax or HBO back in the day was really that was chef's kiss.
I was gonna say, I'm surprised there's enough left over of that movie to show on TV.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, if you look at HBO and Cinemax, they would show those movies, no problem.
If it was on network television, it would just start.
Yeah, pretty much. Simon Astor says, you're beating up, brutalizing, impaling, and tearing Cenobites apart. That's just how they make friends. It's like a dating sim.
Yeah.
It's true. It is true.
Mm-hmm. And that's like I posted in our Discord, spoiler alert, you fight your way through hell to rescue your girlfriend, but by the time you get there, she's a fully converted Cenobite. And so you just get to join their extreme BDSM club for all eternity.
Oh, I was about to say, did you just spoil it, the whole game?
I would put some money on that being at least one of the endings, if not the true ending.
I mean, I don't see anything wrong with that.
I mean, it's a typical Steam game, right?
Extreme. Yeah, BDSM.
Are they not going to allow you to charge it to your credit card, though?
Probably not.
Yeah.
So, Blue, because this is a first person, do you plan on playing this?
Oh, probably not.
You can't forego that aspect?
The gameplay, first person, it's weird. I don't enjoy that perspective.
Okay.
I feel like I can't see. Like, your vision is like this, and it bugs me. Yeah. So, that's why I don't play first person games generally. Not that I've never played them. I played a few, but just in general. I don't know if people say that this is like the best game ever, the best horror game ever. Sure. I'll probably give it a try then.
And I think based on what Ryan says, as far as like he doesn't like body horror or whatnot, you're probably going to pass on this game then.
I don't know if so. For me, I have no problem with animated body horror. Akira, love that movie. So, as far as things go, I don't. It does not make me want to retch as much as like,
Okay.
even practical effects make me want to retch. So yeah, I probably would at least give it a go for sure.
I mean, we've seen like I don't know if I can say that this is like a renaissance of horror games and whatnot, because we've seen so many different IPs from the 80s and 90s, horror IPs turn into video games. Not to say that they didn't have them before. Halloween on the Atari 2600, A Nightmare on Elm Street on the Nintendo Entertainment System. I'd say we've progressed a little bit farther from that. But like Michael Myers has his own game. He's been featured in games. Freddy Krueger has been featured in games. I didn't care too much for the Attack of the Killer Clowns game because that wasn't really my jam. But a Hellraiser game that has spawned so many different movies, and one that has scared the crap out of me as a kid. I can only imagine this kind of setting in like a Doom play style, or I wouldn't say Duke Nukem, but Doom equivalent and whatnot. I think that would be, as long as I'm not shooting things. If I had like kind of like in BioShock, where I can use a hook, I can use a sword or something like that to hit enemies, I think I'm perfectly fine with that. But just don't turn it into a shooter.
The
Yeah.
interesting part though is that like Doom is basically what you just described with a gun, right? It's
Yeah.
demons, it's hell, it's
And it does have, if you watch the trailer, it's got a kind of doomishness to it. But I think you got a doomishness. I think you've got a point there, Donnie, because a lot of the horror IPs that have been coming out with games, they're trying to capitalize on that. What's Dead by Daylight?
Well, survival horror. I mean,
Yeah, it's like a asymmetrical horror or asymmetrical. Frick, what's it called?
uh,
Where it's like 1 versus 4 or one,
oh, I didn't. Okay, I didn't know that was a term. Sorry.
Hang on.
I'm just the beauty on the podcast.
Right.
I don't know what you're talking about. Asymmetrical multiplayer, says Simon Ashtier.
Okay,
that makes
asymmetrical
sense.
Something.
Okay.
Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that they did that with Dead by Daylight. They did that with Friday the 13th. They did that with Killer Clowns, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre are all that type of game. And this looks like a single player game.
Yeah, this
So
looks
that's
different.
worth noting. I think it will give it some more longevity than the others.
And to your point, that was the first thing I thought was going to be how it was going to go down was exactly what you described. It's just going to be another version of that, right? Because that
Right.
has been the flavor for the last couple of years. And the funny part is like everybody's trying to copy Dead by Daylight, and nobody has done it
Nope.
even remotely as close.
Not successful.
You mean kind of like putting out a free-to-play first-person shooter and trying to copy Warzone? And
Yeah, just like that. It doesn't work. It doesn't. Most of these free-to-play first-person shooters are all like space themed and science fiction themed and whatnot. And like for me personally, I can't get into those. The gritty realism of war stuff, sure, I can do that no problem. But sci-fi shooters just do not sit well with me for some reason.
You don't like the pew pew?
Pew 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 pew. No, do not.
So Donnie's excited. Blue, not so much, right?
no, I'm excited. I just probably won't play it, but I think it's a good IP to be bringing back.
And you know what? It does give me some optimism that maybe that becomes a series because there's so much lore and IP from the Hellraiser movies, series, comics, whatever, that you could lean on for a lot more content for this.
Yeah, I think like maybe like 3 games max is something like you could squish all of the movies into 3 separate games. Not something you like, oh, here's Hellraiser 10, the game, and you're like, oh god, again?
Yeah, because 80s horror IPs are known for their restraint
I
when
was
it comes
just
to
about
sequels.
to say that. It's like how many Halloween movies, how many Friday the 13th
Yeah.
movies are there?
I hate it when her logic is spot on. I just Especially when it comes to movies. I don't care too much
I
for it.
apologize.
Mm-hmm.
Not really.
Seems so remorseful.
Mm-hmm.
I share that sentiment though, Danny.
I would really like to see a Child's Play game.
Ooh, okay.
Now, you could either be as Chucky, and it doesn't have to be the asymmetrical multiplayer. You could play something as Chucky, or you could play as, Andy or whoever, and just little things like you're in this this environment, and all of a sudden you hear the skittering, and then you have no idea where it's coming from. I think if it's done right, I would love to see a successful Child's Play game.
Sounds like that should be in VR.
Oh god.
Chucky just jumping out of nowhere.
I just wish.
Now you're making me think of like what other horror movies, like the Leprechaun and stuff, like have it voiced by Warwick Davis and all that kind of stuff. Because there was some bad Leprechaun movies, like was it like Leprechaun in the Hood and stuff? Like, some bad ones out there.
Do you think The Shining as a video game could be done in VR?
The only thing about that is that the whole thing that's interesting about The Shining is that there's so much suspense to it, and of course it was just one, right?
Yeah.
So, if you would know the story to like, you had to like redo it, I guess, in order for it to. I don't know. Somebody out there much smarter than me can figure that out.
Okay.
Tegan85 says, "Don't forget, there's Leprechaun in space."
Yeah, that's save the series. Go to space.
For those who don't know, Donnie's a huge fan of Jason in space.
No, I am not. I hate that fucking movie. And I'm sorry, Crunchy. I love you, but that movie sucks, and so do you for liking it.
Okay.
Breck says The Shining in VR, and after you finish the game, you found a bunch of axes in your wall. Oh shit.
Make another Shining like they made the Thing game. Just follow up with another family. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Another family decides to go again because I mean they had talked about that, there were past, not tenants, but like guy who takes caretakers of the hotel that went insane. So
even in
I don't hate that.
Doctor Sleep, I feel like the hotel was still active, like it wasn't shut down or anything like that. So I mean, you could still have like another family come in and they try to take over or they try to manage the hotel during the winter, and the same thing happens.
Do a whole thing about they suppress the press from getting word as to what's going on.
Yeah, suppress the press.
Yep. All right, so moving on. The last one is the dairy industry would like Gen Z to drink more milk, so they made a Fortnite diner tycoon game. What? Dairy Max. An original that represents over 700 dairy farmers would like kids to drink more milk. And so they've sponsored a Fortnite creative level dinner tycoon.
Diner.
Diner. I did say it right the first time. On the for previous. All right. A custom made mode inside Fortnite was made as part of Dairy Max's Level Unlocked digital initiative, a plan designed by Dairy Max to connect youth with the power of dairy in a way that fits their modern lifestyle. Thus, Diner Tycoon, where you can collect ingredients and cook recipes, create delicious dairy-fueled meals, hire workers, and expand your diner in a low-key business simulation. It is, in fact, the second game made by Level Unlocked for Fortnite's creative, following Farm Tycoon. While Farm Tycoon empowers players to grow and manage their own farms, said Level Unlocked in a press release. Diner Tycoon brings the journey full circle, offering complete farm-to-table experience that highlights how real dairy makes its way from farm to fork. Also not made up, the dairy industry has separately been running an esports tournament called the Milk Cup. Cyberpunk future is here. It's pretty much exactly as advertised. What the fuck?
Games that nobody asked for 200, Alex.
Right.
So when you win the milk cup, instead of champagne, they give you like a thing of milk, and so they're all just like shaking it all over each other. And
Wait, how is that?
It's like
again?
Formula One.
you saw.
Isn't that what they do with Formula One?
Yeah.
The guy gets milk.
Here you go. Here's your 2% or skim milk, and you're
Jug
like,
of milk.
Gross.
chug it. Now, if it were chocolate milk, sure. Hand me that big container from Oberweis, and I'll chug that thing down. And I'll have horrible gas like almost immediately.
I was gonna say you're gonna be on the sent in grilled cheeses podcast about lactose intolerance intervention.
Which I feel a little bit like I'm being kind of circled out here, if you will, right? That I, as a lactose intolerant individual, this is offensive to me.
Really? This is offensive?
No.
I think as a lactose intolerant individuals, both of you, Dairy Max doesn't give a fuck if you live or die.
Yeah, because I'm not buying their products, so they don't care about me.
Yeah, and unless you are producing children that will then go on and buy milk, I think they have no further use for you.
Buy milk?
You know, we just live in such an interesting time when it comes to advertising. We went from got milk to let's make a video game about milk. This is weird. Can we just all fully admit that this is really fucking weird?
It is, but it's probably geared towards those people and families who don't want their kids playing violent video games. And if you think about it, Fortnite is a violent video game. You're shooting people and all that stuff. So I feel like this is probably a video game that Blue's parents would have allowed her to play when she was younger, because it's the milk simulator. You're doing, I don't even know what you're doing in this game. Are you pouring milk?
You're running a diner that serves milk. Making milk recipes.
Am I passing a milkshake down the counter just like in Back to the Future? Is that like a tapper type mini game in this thing?
Maybe. I don't know. It's funny though to see these industries that enjoyed dominance before, like hearing that fabric softener companies, because Gen Z doesn't see what's the purpose of fabric softener, and so these companies are panicking and trying to figure out how to make their products cool and necessary again.
That's why they did the pods for a lot of those. So the fabric softener goes in there. We got all these fats of fabric softener. We got to get rid of this shit, you know?
Right.
Gen Z isn't buying Preparation H. How are we going to get them to do that?
We got to make a hemorrhoids game to make it cool.
Yeah. Pop the hemorrhoids. Put the Tux medicated pad on.
You know, you constantly gag when we bring up stuff like that, but you're willing to just fire it home, right?
Yep.
There is no empathy.
I don't know if I can put that in the show.
What? Pop the hemorrhoid?
Yeah.
Put it on a shirt. We got the gum water. Pop the hemorrhoids next.
Oh. And Games with Coffee says, and that is a mental image I cannot get rid of. You and me both.
You had to follow it up, and then the AMS. Oh god.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this will be enough to get Gen Z kids to beg their parents for milk.
Mom, I was playing Fortnite the other night, and I noticed that dairy is an important part of our economy, and I was craving some milk.
See, I'm sniping people now, but I'm drinking milk.
So it's no longer Mountain Dew as for like gamers, right? It's like the drink of choice, or G Fuel, or whatever the fuck that it is nowadays.
Yeah,
it's gonna switch to milk.
Yeah, with the old school Prairie Farms carton. Yeah, no, not the pop top, just the box that you unfolded like in school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the little milk carton you fold it open.
Yeah, and you wouldn't do it right, or at least I could never get it right.
Yeah.
So then you end up like having to like drink it out of the side and it's
Put
dribbling
a
down.
hole in it. You're like,
I did my best.
That could be our milk.
What could be our
Nope.
milk?
No Billy Madison reference.
Oh
Did not
shit!
get to-
Yes, yes.
Okay, well,
sorry.
again, that's not
sorry.
on me, so you can be disappointed in Don.
I wasn't looking at you as far as my where I am on the screen.
That's
Eyes
assault, brother.
locked on Donnie. No milk will ever be our milk.
Our milk.
All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at our top 3 new releases.
Grounded 2 Early Access, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Welcome back to Brook Hollow. Only this time the world is bigger, the bugs are bolder, and the park is ready to play. What? Survive a sprawling open world alone or in co-op with friends. Craft weapons, forge armor, and build bases while exploring the park on your trusty buggy mounts. Unravel hidden mysteries and face unexpected threats. But something else is out there, and it hasn't forgotten you. Luto, PS5,
I don't
Xbox.
think that was the essence of the game.
You don't think?
I don't think it's a horror game, no. But the next one is, so
It does
continue
have
that vibe.
spiders.
Yeah. Ludo. Damn it. Ludo, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Ludo is a psychological horror experience where you take on the role of someone unable to leave their home. COVID lockdown? Every attempt to escape will lead you deeper into the unknown, where nothing is as it seems and everything will test your senses. Wu Kang, Fallen Feathers, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Wu Kang, or Wu Kong, if Fallen Feathers, is a Souls-like action RPG set in the land of Shu during the dark and tumultuous late Ming Dynasty, plagued with warring factions and a mysterious illness spawning monstrous creatures. Battle against grotesque abominations, drawing on ancient lore to challenge the creeping darkness that threatens the humanity that remains. And based on these magnificent descriptions this week, Ryan, what are you choosing?
So I want to go out and say I'm disappointed in myself for not making that Wu Chang or Wu Kang or whatever.
For the children.
Right. I didn't connect the dots of it being potentially a Wu-Tang reference, and I'm disappointed in myself.
You guys are just disappointing everyone all
Right.
night long.
Right. It says Mario Kart's disappointing me.
Right.
I think.
Right.
Yeah.
We are not alone in this.
Mm-hmm. So, game looks gorgeous. Game looks really cool. Seems to be kind of in the same vein as like Sekiro and Ghost of Tsushima and other games. And I'm assuming slightly Wukong with the monkey thing. Not really my bag, right? Too much action going on, so it's just old eyes. I don't do well with it. Not my thing. Not to say it's a bad game, just I can't handle it. So I'm gonna duck out of this one. Grounded 2. The first thing so I saw the trailer for this earlier this year, and I thought, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, right? But I've never played Grounded 1, so this would be kind of my first entry into the series if I wanted to go that. But I loved those movies. Just let me rephrase. I love that movie. Not
I was gonna
those
say.
movies.
I think Honey, I Shrunk the Kids 3 is your favorite, right?
Oh,
With the Sleepover?
Yeah.
The straight-to-video one?
I've never seen that. I saw the first half, maybe even less than that, of Honey, I Blew Up the Kids. And I was like, this is so fucking shit. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah. See, the third one, we had it as kids, and my little sisters watched it all the time. It's got the one girl from Smallville who went on and was in the cult.
Oh, Mac. Allison
Yeah.
Mack.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, she's in it.
Bringing on good times.
I've never seen the other two. I've never seen Honey, We Blew Up the Kid or Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves.
Yeah. See, Tegan probably was subjected to it as well on the VHS.
On the
Honey, We
VHS.
Shrunk Ourselves, because that's the only other way you're going to go.
Right.
They stopped there. They knew what they had. So yeah, looks fun. always wanted to experience the world of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, so I'd at least be willing to give it a shot. It's not something I'm like dying to play though.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be one of those things where spending a night going, what should I play? Maybe I'll check this one out. But next one is Ludo. Daddy's gotten me into horror stuff lately, and not lately, but in the last couple of years. And I don't know, this one seems creepy as fuck. Want to give it a try. It reminds me a lot of some of the other games, not like Madison and what's the
Yes.
other one?
Visage.
Visage, yes. Those two. So yeah, I'm gonna. To be honest with you, I think I'm gonna go with Ludo on this one. Oddly enough, which if you would have asked me 5 years ago, that would have been an absolute no. So growth. There you
Look at us, right?
go.
Blue, what about you? Which one are you picking this week?
So Grounded 2, there is a population in our Discord that is crazy excited for it. So Ryan, if you decide you did wanted to play it, be sure to hit up Sanity and Emo in the Discord, and I forget who else. I'm sorry, maybe playing it, but those guys could probably hook you up with a group session.
Mhm.
Not for me, however, though I do hear from the people who play it, they absolutely love it. Luto does look super scary. It has this very claustrophobic feeling in the
Mhm.
trailer, and like you were guys were saying, like Visage, like Madison. It also gave me vibes of the old PT demo as well. Just kind of you're stuck in your house, but it's turned into a portal to hell or something like that. So, and you can't get out. That kind of a vibe looks really cool. But I think the one that I've been going with this week is Wu Kang. I have no idea. I apologize to everyone how to say that. Uh Souls like looks very pretty. I've heard that it's a really fun game, except for the boss fights are aggressive and frustrating. And I was like, yeah, that sounds like a Souls like. So, of these three, I am going for Fallen Feathers.
Okay.
What
I'm
about you, Donnie?
not surprised in all
Yeah, I was
honesty.
just about to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is my not surprised face.
Yeah, Simon Astor says you should stream it.
Ooh, Puzzle Better says, I got that Everdeep Aurora that we talked about a couple weeks ago, and she says there's a meow button because you play as a cat.
Deep Aurora. I don't remember.
10 out of 10 game of the year.
Oh, yeah. Okay, the one that looks like it was on the Nintendo or what have you.
Yeah, the 16-bit Game Boy
Yeah.
kind of looking game.
Okay.
Where it's Dig Dug, but you're a cat.
Endorsed by Puzzle Butter. Okay, all right. I like it.
And D says the fact that absolutely nobody asked for Ludo actually means being in a state of mourning in Spanish.
Oh, that's probably where it got its name, because the description does say that somebody close to you has died. Somebody in your family has died.
Okay,
So,
makes sense.
thank you, D.
For me, like Grounded 2, like reading the description, I didn't see the trailer or anything like that. So just going by this description, I'm like, craft weapon, nope. Fort, nope. Anything that I've got to craft and fort, nope. I'm immediately out. Knowing now that it's based on something like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, okay, maybe I'll try out, but I'm not looking forward to it. Wu Chang, Fallen Feathers. It's to me, it's just like it's run of the mill. It's everything that's coming out now, and how do you differentiate this game from all of the others that have came out? Like what's making this stand out? So to me, it's just another game that's in the long line of all of these other games that are so similar. So I'm just like, you know what? Not for me. Ludo, however, we seem to get some of these psychological horror games like maybe once every couple of years. First it was Visage, and I think Visage came out in like 2018, 2019. Then a couple of years later, it was Madison, and now a couple of years later, it's Ludo. And from looking at this, like I'm seeing this as a first person, just the claustrophobic, that stuff really like makes the hairs on the back of my neck and my skin just stand up to a point. I love those games, even though like I cringe and I'm nervous and I'm sweaty and I feel like a 10-year-old watching a horror movie all over again when I'm playing this. So I am all in for Ludo, and I hope it makes me feel just as every bit as Visage and Madison has made me feel.
And you know what? It's following the theme. One word title.
Yeah,
That's all you need, man.
Yeah, exactly. Give me a horror game that's the. I'll play it.
Very nice. All right. So yeah, I almost Blue, take it away.
All right. Before we move on, let's take a quick break to talk about our sponsor. This segment is proudly sponsored by the Retro Game Club podcast. It's a fantastic, family-friendly retro gaming podcast. In each episode, Rob and a guest pick 2 games to play and discuss, as well as news, interviews, and other topics. Right now, they're playing through High Octane and Bionic Commando. Visit them at retrogameclub.net or follow the link in the show notes.
Now, which Bionic Commando? Are we talking about the one for the Nintendo?
That's what I was thinking.
Okay, because I own a Bionic Commando game on Steam that came out in like 2013, I think 2010. It's okay, but it's not as good as the original.
Well, usually it's the Retro Game Club, so I'm thinking they're playing the S1.
2013 might be retro now.
Yeah.
Not to these guys.
12 years.
Not to these guys.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's 20 years. 20 years is the cutoff. That's when it's retro.
No, that's a lie.
So Bionic Commando was the one where you got like the hook, right? That you could
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
And High Octane, is that for the PlayStation?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
To the Google.
The Lugal.
Well, it's also a television series. 1995 vehicular combat and racing video game published by EA for MS-DOS, PlayStation, and Sega Saturn.
It's like Twisted Metal on DOS.
EA Sports. It's in the game.
All right, though. Thank you for coming, students. Please take your seats. Today, we are not going to do a Gaming History 101.
Oh, no?
We're going to do kind of a bullshit 101. And the format of this is going to be considerably less organized. Going to be kind of hosting a little bit of a discussion here on this one article found that was written in 2022 that I think posts an interesting viewpoint of how the narrative has changed, and that for me at least, from what I notice, is that video games themselves are often the target of a lot of different groups of people. And in this one in particular, the name of this article is why video games are a waste of time, by a gentleman by the name of Ryan Fellman. And Ryan Fellman, for those who don't know, and I just found this out, has a book called Reclaim Your Manhood.
How did you lose the manhood? Did it fall off?
By picking up a controller, I guess.
I guess.
And it's interesting to me because, like, I mean, we're used to politicians blaming video games for certain things like violence and that kind of stuff. We're used to this idea of society in general looking at video games as being like a net negative, right? And this article in particular, I thought was interesting because, like, I mean, the title itself is clearly clickbait, rage bait kind of thing. But if you kind of dive into it, it's a description of somebody who kind of went through a difficult experience with video games, and there it talks about kind of video game addiction and this person's experience with it and how to kind of break that, which I'm okay with if we're posting things that are going to help people overcome something that they got a problem with. That's fine. And I'll get into it a little bit further as to why I don't necessarily like the approach and what's being done here. But the article itself is, I think, intended to catch your eye as somebody who is a young man and then funnel you into a larger narrative that's outside the realm of video games, that makes you look at the world as though you need something like this because this person happens to say things that resonate with you. To me, this sounds a bit like a grift, and I guess I'm just tired of video games being the scapegoat for everyone. But article starts off with, do you wish you made more money? Do you wish you were in better shape? Do you wish you had a girlfriend? If you're not satisfied with your path in life, you need to look at your daily habits, and video games are one of the biggest time wasters for men. So I'm going to pause there and
Oh, he's not
say,
talking to me. You guys go ahead.
No, that while they're not saying while they're saying specifically it's the biggest time wasters for men. They can include women in there because women are just as guilty as playing video games for long periods of time. But there is that whole thing where if you're a guy and you're playing video games like constantly, then what are you doing? You're not
But
being the guy thing.
I'm not struggling to reclaim my manhood like Ryan
sure?
Feldman. So yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
and it starts off by saying, like, why are video games addicting? I've drank too much alcohol, I've had times, blah blah blah. And he goes on to admit that he was addicted to video games. And he said he basically pulls up the World Health Organization's video game addiction, mental health disorder. Not surprised whatsoever that came into it. But we've had a discussion about that, especially on the uncut episodes, as to what
Mm-hmm.
that implication is. But it goes on to highlight a few different things. So for one, it's got certain sections, and one of the topics is you don't do anything interesting with your time. That premise of you don't do anything interesting with your time. Why are video games, I guess I would say, not considered to be interesting with your time? To me, it's my time. It's what I choose to do with it. And if I'm enjoying myself and I'm being entertained, it's almost like we're saying we're doing things with our time to impress other people. And
He
I've got a
probably
problem.
is.
Yeah,
He probably is.
that's the whole mantra now. It's like, look at me, look at me, look at what I'm posting on social media. Look at me, look at what I'm doing. Give me validation. Give me whatever. I fucking hate it.
Yeah. But I mean, it is the thing is it a waste of time if you are happy?
That's the Does it give you the dopamine that you're looking for? Does it provide you with a sense of happiness and fulfillment? I've Interesting part about video games is that it's a mental experience, right? So it's a lot of it's narrative driven, and it's an experience, camaraderie wise too. If you're playing Call of Duty with friends, like there's a lot of things that can have a positive impact on your life.
Mm-hmm.
So again, why is it that I need to care as a quote unquote man what other people think about how I spend my leisure time?
Well, let's face it. If you didn't care about your status as a man, you're not reading his shit anyway.
It's a good point, I think. But I mean, I don't know if you've noticed this, but there's been this shift, I think, in society to, at least, so when I was growing up, it was, you as a young man or a young kid, a boy, uh, you were told not to cry. You were not told not to show your emotions. You were, these are the things that are expected of you. This is how you be a man, yada, yada, yada. Um, and I think as I've grown up, the later generations, I don't know if they've necessarily had all of those, for lack of a better term, teachings, but I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing at times. Um, because I think one of the things that I was given is, um, and this is not just like from my parents or whatever, was from everybody you interact with at sports and everything, was this. don't cry, don't show emotion. And that made me kind of emotionally shut off for a large portion of my life. That's been difficult to kind of deal with. So with that, in that vein, there appears to be now a shift back to try to get there. And it's almost like video games are kind of the utilizing that, or being that one thing that we can all point out and say, all right, well, stop doing that, because that's not what real men do.
I think this has something to do, and probably mostly to do, with the way that our culture was prior to the 80s, where we didn't have video games, right? There was no, like, before video games, what were people doing? What were you doing with your leisure time? I mean, if you were a kid, playing with toys, going outside, spending a lot of time outside with friends, doing whatever, getting into trouble, exploring, all that stuff. If you were an adult male, what were you doing? Working on cars, working in the garage, doing all this stuff, taking care of the house, doing a lot of stuff in that regard that was considered manly stuff, right?
Right.
And then so you have these other things that come into play, that come along and take your attention away from those things that, quote unquote, you should be doing. But now, instead of fixing stuff around the house, instead of mowing the lawn, instead of doing all this other stuff, you're sitting on a couch, scratching your butt, drinking a Mountain Dew, and playing Call of Duty for 12 hours.
Well, and I think this article, because there's a kernel of truth in most of his points.
Sure.
Video games take money away from other things. They take time away from exercise, from family, from other pursuits, education, whatever other points that he made. I only half skimmed over it because it was 98% bullshit. And it's that kernel of truth, the 2% kernel of truth, that allows him to make these claims. But the entire thing is still, he's preying on guys who are insecure.
That's it.
About their identity based on antiquated gender roles. And like you were saying, Ryan, what it means to be a man is changing. What it means to be a woman is changing. And even now, it's like we have so many more choices. You don't have to be a man or a woman. You can be many things these days. Your identity is not based on are you team blue or are you team pink? And some people just, if they don't have enough else inside them to replace that, well, they're scrambling for something. What did my father do? What did my grandfather do? What did my ancestors do? Because they were real men. They knew what it was to be a real man. And that's why we seem to be seeing this resurgence of how to be an alpha male bullshit online, which, side note, there is no faster way to make me less interested in anything you have to say than to be thumping your chest as an alpha male. I do not have time for you. Right, exactly.
I just always find that the folks who push that narrative as well, they're the exact opposite of what I would consider to be somebody who is comfortable with who they are in their own skin, which to me is manly, and it's womanly. It's not necessarily something, it's not feminine either, but to be just a decent human being, right? And just to be comfortable with yourself. I'm less concerned about the fact that I have an X chromosome or Y chromosome than just being like a good person. I think that's my aim in life, and I think I look better in a pair of slacks than I do something else, So for me, at least, I don't care.
Well, we don't know that because we haven't seen pics of you and the other stuff. So if you want to provide that information so we can make a better judgment call, then go for that.
I've seen pics of him in a kilt. You can use your imagination.
There we
go. That's a kilt, man. Come on, this doesn't apply here.
Super manly kilt.
I'm talking about pantyhose. And
oh, you want me to go the full 9?
Whatever you call it.
Arm pads,
Ooh, like the power blazer.
Yes,
with the arm
yes. I think I can do that for you.
But yeah, so I think we all agree that he's full of shit, and there is nothing wrong with leisure for leisure's sake.
Correct. It doesn't matter what you spend your time. Video games are the same as okay. It's not the same as pickleball because you're getting you're getting exercise that way or whatever. But whatever you do in your leisure time, if you're painting little miniatures and that's what you like to get involved in, do it. You know, it's just as anything that it's as guilty as anything else that makes you or is addictive, that gives you that dopamine hit of like, oh my God, yes, I'm having so much fun. Video games, gambling, painting miniatures, doing whatever. It's everything in moderation.
That's it. Is everything in moderation, right? Choose your time wisely, but just if there's a point in which it's affecting other parts, especially your job, your ability to be able to afford where you live and your family, right? It's a big problem. So be willing to at least put the brakes on it or have some guardrails. But I agree, everything in moderation. You can do whatever you want. One thing I love about gaming, though, is that you can be whoever you want in a gaming space as well. So
even a topless orc,
or a tornado.
All right. So I just wanted to kind of bring this up too. I just thought it was an interesting article. Retroblast Pat had kind of shared it on Blue Sky, and just wanted to kind of deep dive into it. I think the only 160 characters you get on Blue Sky is just not enough to address something like that. And appreciate you guys coming along for the journey for this one. And hopefully, if I find any other articles that we can shit on, I'd be happy to bring them on.
Everybody needs to take a dump from time to time.
Indeed. Well, thank you for listening to episode 175 of Gamers Week podcast. And a big thank you to the Retro Game Club podcast, Love Retro BTW, Pixel Pond Production Company, and absolutely the best podcast, A Work in Progress for sponsoring this episode. Sponsoring this episode. Don't forget to check out their links in the show notes. If you want to connect with Gamers Week, follow us on Twitter and Blue Sky at Gamers Week PC. Watch us right here on Twitch at twitch.tv/GamersWeek, where we will record live every Wednesday at 8:30 Central Standard Time. We're never late, ever. Email us at gamersweekpodcast@gmail.com. Visit our merch store at gamers-week-podcast.creator-spring.com. Or if you want to do it the easy way, follow the link in the show notes. And last but not least, join us on Patreon, patreon.com/gamersweek, where you can watch Hot Shots coming up shortly. Finally, since you made it all the way to the end of the episode, please leave us a rating and a review to let us know how we did. And we really do value your feedback. And while you're there, consider subscribing on iTunes, Spotify, or your podcast platform of choice. And we are outie. So,
and I would like to just take a moment to say, rest in peace, Malcolm Jamal Warner and Ozzy fucking Osbourne. Holy crap.
I think they probably put that on the headstone. Ozzy
fucking Osbourne. Here's to you, Prince of Darkness or Lord of Darkness. That is it for us this evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. As usual, we always love and appreciate your commentary in the chat and coming along with us on this journey. We always greatly appreciate it. Tonight we're gonna raid Mega Retro Man, who's playing some retro right now. I mean, it's in his name, so I mean, if he was playing something else, right meow. If he's playing something else, I'd call him a fraud. But he's playing retro, so let's go ahead and send everybody on over to him, show him some love, and we will see you back next week and hopefully soon for the uncut episodes. They should be starting back up here.
Off of our hiatus?
Hiatus. All right, everybody. Have a good night. We'll see you later. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Good night, everyone.